Yeah, for sure. I feel like we only saw a John Florence in sort of maybe fourth gear there. There's a couple more to go.
Maybe not even, maybe a second gear, and it was easy for him. He got the jump on Imai Kalani DeVault in that first heat. Now we're going to see Kolohe Andino taking on Jackson Baker.
Just want to make a point here that Jackson Baker forced the issue, Ron, and took the inside track, and in doing so got the first wave in this heat.
Well, let's see what he can do with it. He's in incredible form, had his biggest event win at home, the first Novocastrian to break through for a victory at Surfest. And he's carried some serious momentum from that win to the CT, looking to finish off this first ride. It was a bit of a disjointed wave, but he did join it together pretty nicely.
Yeah, and you can see there the difference between board choice. It looks like Jacko's on maybe a 6.5, a 6.6. The board looks much longer than what both Imai and John were riding in the previous heat. So we watch the replay here. Look how Jackson just, well, he faded onto the left first because he knew he wanted to get into the power source, stay with that section right where the foam is breaking. But really a pretty soupy wave the whole way through, and Jacko just a series of small turns all the way through to the inside. At this point he's thinking there's no point flicking out, I'll just ride it through. Try and drop a 3, maybe a 4-point ride here. Great angle from the flight cam.
I guess, Rich, in that situation, if you're going to push for that inside position, you want a lot more than what looks like it is going to be around a 3-point ride to kick things off. It's sort of almost like the advantage suddenly goes to the surfer who didn't kind of get in the tussle for that inside position. I think Kolohe's looking for a big set to lay into here, and he's not going to waste that priority. This is the one he's identified some scoring potential on. Hangs on that bottom turn. Nice hooking turn to get started. There was a lot of bump off the bottom. He did well to negotiate that. As he looks for the finish on the inside, lines up the section, jams it with a layback.
Just watching the replay here. Watch the fade. Almost sunset looking in the wave face here. Jams on the tail. A nice tight turn up in the pocket. And then here, pump. Knew he had to get to this final section here. Goes up early and then starts to outrun it.
That's the first section here. It's like driving down a 4-wheel drive track looking for waves here in the west.
I know, just negotiating all those bumps, and you can see there just how low Kolohe was getting on the bottom turn. If he'd stood up a little bit more, those bumps would have really impacted the line.
Love that end turn, but again, here it is. Have a look how well he just keeps those knees bent and absorbs all the shocks here.
Absolutely, and that arm just skimming the wave face, almost feeling by braille, and now he starts to open up the turn, gets on the tail, drives it all the way around. It's quite a tight turn for how big the wave actually was, and here he just starts to pump down the line, looking for the speed, looking for the moment.
And he wants to arrive to this section early, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, if you hit this thing late, that foam is just going to swallow you up. But it's pretty critical the way he actually hit that. Went for that little layback hack.
Couple of solid moves. Right behind him, Jackson Baker pulls through the back of a set. Not just their rivals that they're battling out here. They're facing tricky conditions. Still plenty of bump on the face. Hopefully that's ironed out by the offshore breeze as Jackson Baker again punches through the back of a ride. Kolohe Andino, though, you've got to give him props, Rich. That opening ride, he waited around 10 minutes for it, and he really made it count. As Jackson might look to swoop on the boil here. Good size wave with a smoother face. A little trip up, but recovers nicely. Let's see what he can do on the inside. Really needs to make this final section count. Drives up into it. I mean, that is a lot harder to do than maybe it looks. But that was a well-placed floating manoeuvre. Maybe blinded at a certain stage through that turn, but hung on for a finish. Should chip away at the requirement here.
Yeah, it was a good choice. I liked it. Under priority, as you said there, skipping on that first little bottom turn. But gets the wrap. And then it just put more importance on getting to this final turn, a very, very turbulent, soupy end section. Yeah, he's too good a surfer to not be on the tour, and I think we'll see him back here at the end of this year as we see Kolohe on the replay here. A second good scoring ride and another good opening snap. Cutting back into the whitewash here. Final section, what happens? Up and over. And there's that real extended lip line floater on that has just stamped his authority in this heat. This is going to be another good number for Kolohe.
Valiant effort to get to that position, and now I think we're seeing a full strength Andino and the kind of confidence. Seeing him attack these end sections, I think the ankle's all good, and it could set up for a great finish for him. As we see Jackson Baker now looking for a reply. Strong turn there. Starting to look a little bit more sure-footed himself, but he just gets completely wiped out on that last section. 7.07 for Andino on that second ride. And a lot of points for Kolohe coming from those end section moves, fully committed and so strong, just hanging on with everything he's got. And Jackson Baker just sort of came from nowhere to qualify, Rich, and now we're seeing these two match up beautifully. That was a strong opening turn.
Yeah, I actually like the way Jacko surfed this wave. More power, more carve, more intent with each and every manoeuvre. And he had just done some great work up to this point, just arrived a little bit late to that section. And this is what is going to happen. See, he's up under the lip instead of, oh, look, it's milliseconds that we're talking about here. But if he had just got to that section a bit earlier and projected off it, he would have made that. Just the way he's constructed this heat and just surfed enough to do what he had to do. And here's a big wave here.
Andino just dropped straight to the bottom. Good size wall. But he's going to opt out of this one. It just went a little ugly. It shut down early.
Well, here's a chance. Huge score needed for Jacko.
Near perfect. Just over a minute to go. Jackson Baker's got to do some incredible stuff on this ride to have a chance at turning this heat in the final stages. He's that guy who's sitting in a precarious position, but he is sitting 20th at the moment on the cusp of that mid-year cut. Whoa. Just inside as Andino tries to whip the alley-oop. Incomplete. 45 seconds remaining here. Well, just on 15 seconds to go, and Jackson's going to get another opportunity here. Whoa. But it goes wrong for him. He does need a 9.9.
Well, unfortunately, that will be it for Jackson Baker. A great heat for Kolohe Andino. In contrast, just surfed near flawless in terms of competition strategy. The surfing was remarkable, really showing us what can be done out here at Main.